Welcome to Troy's Outdoor Pursuits and Projects. Here on the homestead, our water is supplied from a couple vertical wells, low yield wells, and the water from both wells are pumped into this 5,000 gallon storage tank. I've got some improvements planned for our system, and I thought I'd do a video on at least the first one, which involves trying to improve the aesthetic quality of our water. We've developed a bit of an iron and or manganese problem, which causes staining and discoloration, slight staining and discoloration of our water, and a little off taste. So we have to use an under-sink filter to make the water palatable for normal people, which is anybody but me. So I'm going to take you through that process and see if I can build an airlift filtration system with ozone that will hopefully take care of that problem. What happens is that the iron or manganese are suspended in the water, and eventually they either oxidize or consumed by bacteria that aren't harmful, and it just causes the discoloration that is the problem. So let's take a look at the water so we can compare it before and after. This project is going to take a couple weeks at least before I would expect the water to clear up, as the filter is kind of a passive filter. Okay, we're here in the kitchen, and the water for our house is completely unfiltered. So the water here on the left in the tap is just water straight from our water tank, straight from the well. Here on this side, we've got a under-sink water filter. It's a reverse osmosis, UV treated filter system, and it works awesome, and it produces really nice water. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill these two glasses with about the same amount of water, and we're going to compare them. So right off the bat, you can see the slight discoloration of the water on the left. This doesn't really do it justice in this light. Let's try it without the... There we go. Maybe that's a little bit different. But you can see the water on the left has got more color to it. It doesn't taste as good either. This one give you an idea what my water looks like out of the faucet in a white bucket. A little different than in the glass in the house. Okay, we got my old GoPro Hero Session 5 on a rope, about 7 feet of rope with a flashlight. Okay, here we go, down the hole. Right at the surface, and then we're dropping down 2 feet and then all the way. Okay, I hope that helped. Let's go over the parts we'll need for this project. Most everything I bought off Amazon or eBay, all pretty cheap stuff. I had these PVC fittings and pipe ahead of time. The heart of this airlift filtration pump is this $30 aquarium compressor. It generates about 3 psi, which should get me about 7 feet of head. I should be able to drop the air stone 7 feet into the tank. I think it'll work pretty good. I'd rather have higher pressure, but I have a really hard time finding a higher pressure, cheap aquarium pump that suited my needs. So that's that. Next, we got some silicone, 1/4-inch silicone tubing. That was like 10 bucks. I have a timer. I'll tell you what that's needed for later. and it was $12. And then we've got this, right straight from China, I've got this ozone generator. This is an ozone generator. It's supposed to generate 7 grams per hour of ozone, which I understand is really, really high and probably very unlikely. It comes with a transformer that plugs into 120 volts AC. It's supposed to generate, I don't know, 15,000 volts or something like that. Very high voltage. So again, this is just a big experiment. This is just a stainless steel air stone I'll be using as a bubbler for the project. And then the filters I'm using are super cheap filters, 17 bucks for a pair of filters. I'll clean them as often as I can. I might have to toss them out and replace them eventually. A commercially available filter like this would use far better filters than this. Reusable, like for a very long time. But we'll see how this works out. This is just kind of proof of concept and see if I can do it super cheap. I think that's about it. This equipment's going to be mounted into this very cheesy and very temporary enclosure that will be temporarily mounted outside until I decide whether or not this is worth refining. I've added an outlet here. Please do not bash me on my safety. I understand. So let's start putting this together. Okay, so here's the theory of operation on this. The AC power will be provided here to this outlet. This outlet will continuously apply power to the aquarium pump. The aquarium pump pumps air through the ozone generator, through this tube that will go to this air stone inside the airlift pump apparatus in the tank. Now, the reason for the timer is the ozone generator generates a lot of heat and has a short life. So the ozone generator will be switched on periodically while the compressor's running throughout the compressor's operation. And my initial intention is to run the compressor 24/7 for a period of a week and see if my water clears up, how quickly it clears up, if it clears up at all, because again, this is an experiment. I'll probably time the ozone generator to operate, I'll say 1 minute for every 5 minutes of compressor operation, something like that. I don't know how hot it's going to get. I don't know how long it lasts. They're even in the commercial systems, they are a consumable item. They're replaced frequently, like annually at least. So we'll see how this works, and yeah, we'll see how it works. Here I've got the basic parts of the airlift pump outside the compressor. I've got a piece of PVC pipe. I drilled a bunch of holes in it. The ends threaded. I've got a T attached here and a piece of straight pipe here. The filters will fit over the part of the pipe with the holes in it. And then I'm going to use this galvanized pipe cap on the end, which will also serve as a weight to keep the filter oriented in the tank. And then I've got this air stone, the stainless steel air stone, that will slip onto my silicone tubing that passes through a plug. I've got the wrong plug here. I need a threaded T, but I don't have one, so I'm just using what I got. And then that pulls tight into here. So air stone goes into the T, and then this filter apparatus fits in the tank like so. When air is pumped into the T, it bubbles up and creates kind of a Venturi effect and draws water up and out. And while it does that, it's pulling water through the filters. So well, let's get this thing installed and see if I can demonstrate it firsthand, maybe make a little more sense. But this thing up. This is where it stands right now. I'll put a cover over this to keep the weather off it. Again, this is temporary. We're going to plug this in, and the aeration pump will start working. This timer will tell the ozone generator to come on for 1 minute every 5 minutes. And hopefully we've got some bubbles coming up out here, coming out of the aerator. We're going to drop the filter down in there. It'll take a while for it to saturate. Oh, look at that. Okay, you see that water coming up? So with this short pipe, I don't know if you can see that. This will lift water about 6 inches above the surface. So we'll drop it down in the water. Oh yeah, so if it's blowing bubbles, it's moving water. Now realize, you know, as water's bubbling up through that column in the pipe, or as air is bubbling up through the column of the pipe, it's drawing water up. And if it draws water up, it's drawing water through the filter. So, okay. Okay, it's been 3 days, and we're going to go ahead and reevaluate the water. The system's been running as it's supposed to. I'm going to try to pull the filter up gently and then drop it in this bucket. I'm sure it's got a lot of sediment on it that's going to want to fall off. So I'm just going to have to be really gentle with it. I can really smell the ozone in the tank. It's very strong. You can see a lot of the sediment coming off the filter. I just lost a whole bunch of it. This is 3 days worth. I don't know if you can see that. Quite a bit of stuff coming off. Well, that filtered out quite a bit of gunk. Okay, it's been a week. Let's climb up and take a look at the tank. Tank level's a little lower. I'm going to put a flashlight. Wow, I can see the bottom. No problem. Looks crystal clear. Look, I can see the filter like crazy. Okay, let's drop this camera into the bottom of the tank. Okay, drop this camera into the bottom. think that pretty much tells the story right there, but I'll go over what happened this week. All right, my airlift ozone passive system, tank filtration system, has been in operation for a week now, and you saw the results in the tank. The water in the tank really looks crystal clear. I've never seen it so clear, honestly. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. A couple other things that happened. The water in the kitchen tastes good. It's also crystal clear, and I'm super happy with that too. I've also had, a third thing's happened is I've had some iron bacteria fall out in the bottom of the tank where the filter is not going to catch it, and that's okay because I don't draw water from the bottom of the tank. One little problem I did have though, if you notice, my equipment here is missing the ozone generator. Well, the ozone generator failed after the third day. It worked great prior to that. And ozone is a proven disinfectant, oxidizer of organic and inorganic materials. So I had high hopes it would do a lot for my water, and it may have. I really don't know. But it quit, and of course I've got a claim in with the eBay supplier, and we'll see how that goes. In the end, I think the airlift passive filtration system using just a compressor is a great way to filter your tank water without having an inline filter in your plumbing system that has the potential to restrict flow. And that's the main reason I don't just have like a whole house filter or a whole system filter, because I've got quite a lot of plumbing here on my property. So I really like the idea of keeping the water in my tank clean. If I can keep my water in my tank clean, disinfecting my distribution system is not a big issue. But I'm happy with the filter the way it is, and I'm going to continue doing that. If I can find a cheap ozone replacement system generator that I think will last a year or two, I'm certainly going to use it because I appreciate the disinfection properties that ozone has. Also, as an option, I could chlorinate once a month or something to a very low level just to keep the bacteria down, assuming that's a problem, and I'm quite positive we have bacteria. So with that, I hope this was helpful. And I really think if you're a property owner that lives in an area where they have to have a storage tank, especially if you're on low yield wells like I am, that this passive filtration system might be a big benefit to you. There are options of putting the filter on the outside of the tank, and I might explore that as well. But the efficiency of the filter being mounted in the tank is a lot better. The hard part is the cleaning part. So it's just a trade-off, I guess. I hope that was helpful. I hope you pass this video on to people that you know that have storage tanks on their property. Maybe it's something that can help them. And if I get a few comments, maybe I'll do more videos on water issues. But remember, I might come up with a way to clean the bottom of that tank without climbing in it and draining it, which is what I've had to do for many years now. All right, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Okay, I just wanted to show you what the same water in the same bucket and the same hose looks like a couple weeks later in the sun. Quite a difference. Not bad at all.
Believing that their faith will be built even when some of their prayers aren't being answered. And then some of them